Today's Morning First Alert Weather Show is brought to you by Sam Bernstein Law.
Well, good Thursday morning, Mid-Michigan. I'm First Alert meteorologist Matthew Mondro here with your First Alert Weather Show, taking a look at the forecast as we go towards the end of this week. And we certainly are going to be tracking some more damp weather as we close out the work week. It's especially the case for today as well. I know quite a different story after what we had yesterday. And yesterday was just an absolutely beautiful day. We had all the sun, we had the warm temps, the wind stayed pretty light as well. Yesterday certainly was quite a banner day, especially for this time of year. Those conditions that we had yesterday are more typical of early April, so we kind of got a little bit of a taste of April from yesterday. But for today, we again still are tracking some damp weather, and then we have some rain chances that we're tracking for tomorrow, especially tomorrow evening and as we go into Saturday morning. I actually do want to first alert you right off the bat here to an update that we have for tomorrow with that rain and actually with some of the thunderstorms that we have in the forecast too. So we do expect some isolated thunderstorms, especially by Friday evening, and even some of that activity on Saturday morning as well. And now there actually is a chance for isolated severe hail out of some of those storms as well. So essentially what's happening here is we have the atmosphere being colder than it normally would be during the summertime, especially the upper levels of the atmosphere. So at this time of year, when you have thunderstorms, usually they have a bit of a better tendency to be able to create hail or be able to create larger hail as well. So the severe threat that we have tomorrow evening, even though it is isolated, it is just highlighting that severe threat for some larger hail. So that is definitely something that we want to monitor for your Friday evening in case you do have plans. Let me show you that outlook here. So this is the marginal risk that we have from Mount Pleasant, pretty much just outside of Midland proper. It even includes Gladwin, Houghton Lake, Alma. You kind of see the coverage here though. The dark green on your screen here, that is the marginal risk. So it mainly includes all of our US 127 communities like Alma and Mount Pleasant and Clare, but it also does include some of those western portions of Midland County. So Coleman, you'd also be included in that as well. So those are the areas that at least have the greater tendency tomorrow evening to be able to see some large hail, even though most of mid-Michigan will still pick up some rain, and many of us should even still be able to hear a little bit of thunder by tomorrow evening as well. So let's go over to the first alert hour by hour. So first, tomorrow morning, we could actually wake up to a little bit of drizzle in the morning. It will be pretty cloudy though, kind of like today. As we go towards lunchtime, so this right here on your screen is noon tomorrow. We're rain-free at that point, but also still holding on to the clouds. Now, as we go into the afternoon, and this is something that we've also seen an update with the timing for some of the showers tomorrow. We've seen the start time for some of these showers starting to move up into the mid-afternoon. So previously, it looked like most of the rain was going to hold off until about 5 o'clock, but now maybe as early as 2 or 3 o'clock. So I will say some of the bus stops tomorrow, when students are heading home from school, there is going to be a chance for some wet weather. But I will say with that at the same time, it doesn't look to be particularly stormy at that time when students are heading home. In fact, most of the storm development likely to be a little bit later into the day still. We're talking about 5 p.m., if not even a little bit later than that too. I'll move this forward one more time frame here. So this is about 8 o'clock in the evening tomorrow. You see some of these stronger storms, these stronger cells popping up. That activity between Grand Rapids and Mount Pleasant, that's exactly what that marginal risk for tomorrow is highlighting. So those storms no doubt will bring some heavier downpours, but they also do pose that potential for some large hail. I think some hail at the very least, even if it's just pea-sized or maybe dime-sized, but still I think you'll likely see some hail out of the strongest storm cells that we have for tomorrow evening. So as we keep going on into the night, those will eventually clear out of here. We're actually really only left with some isolated rain showers in the middle of tomorrow night. Then as we go into Saturday morning, we're likely to see another round of rain moving through. That should also include some storm activity as well. So we'll be monitoring that too, because kind of interestingly here too, Friday night into Saturday, we're also seeing some indications that the warmth actually really doesn't let up. So we don't go through that typical overnight cooling down cycle that we usually go through on a daily basis. So even by Saturday morning, there might still be some warmth there for some of these storms to be able to feed off of as well. So I think maybe at the very least a few good rumbles on Saturday morning, possibly some hail out of some of the heaviest storms as well. So we'll be monitoring that as we start off the weekend. But I'll take you back to the hour by hour here just to show you that pretty much once we see these storms on Saturday morning and the rain clearing out, the second half of the day is going to be a bit quieter. I still think we'll have some rain lingering even towards dinner time on Saturday. Well, once we go into Saturday night, we should see the rain come to an end, and then eventually we're actually heading towards more of a mostly sunny sky on Sunday. So Sunday actually looks to be a pretty decent day, and we'll still hold on to some mild temps for the upcoming weekend as well. I'll actually show you here real quick too that 7-day just to illustrate some of those temperatures. 62 on Saturday, 54 on Sunday, and even for tomorrow we're reaching up to 57 degrees. And notice that overnight low, so tomorrow night into Saturday morning, only about 52. So we barely cool down from the daytime on Friday, and that already leaves us with a pretty good jumping off point on Saturday morning for those temperatures to warm up even more. So that's part of why we're able to reach the low 60s by Saturday. And some of this warmth still holds on even as we start off next week too, but it is still looking like around the middle of next week, that system that we have Wednesday with the rain, that's likely the system that's going to break this pattern and eventually take us back to some cooler temps, mainly some 30s as we go into the second half of next week and even into next weekend as well. So that's the latest with tomorrow's storm activity. Again, just an isolated chance, but it is a chance nonetheless for some large, possibly severe hail out of a couple of those storms for tomorrow evening. We'll take a quick break though real quick, and then when we come back from the break, we'll go over more of the forecast for the rest of today as well. All right, welcome back from that break. So certainly we've been tracking some wet weather for today, and that's pretty much still going to be the case as we go throughout the remainder of today as well. We still have some more rain chances by this afternoon, and we've had some damp, sort of drizzly or misty conditions throughout this morning as well. Definitely a day that you want to have that rain gear ready to go, and also bundle up a little bit more too, because it is going to be cooler. We're staying cooler than yesterday. Also checking in on the Facebook live stream here. Good morning to Cherry Hetrick in Gladwin. Hope you've been staying dry this morning. Certainly is just a complete 180 from the sun and the warmth that we had yesterday. But let's go over to the First Alert Pinpoint Doppler so you see some of these scattered showers that we still have on the radar right now. Let me zoom in just a little bit closer, take you to a few places like Clare and Lake George. So even around Harrison, you'll have some of that rain moving through, and some of those showers also right near the Gladwin area. We also have some rain between Edenville and Pinconning, so that's also going to be heading up towards Standish and the Sterling areas, as long as that's able to hold together, which I think it will. We've also had a couple of showers right near the Augrey and Alabaster areas. Moving south into the Thumb, we still have some rain between Quanticossee and Akron. Caro, you have some rain just to the south of town currently over M24. And then moving south, and this is one thing that's been kind of interesting all morning long, is some of the drizzle, some of the mist out there not showing up on the radar. So even though the radar actually looks pretty quiet in Flint right now, we have seen pretty much all throughout the morning conditions being pretty wet in downtown Flint, so right across the bricks. Let me take you over to that live view here in downtown Flint, and you can see it just looks pretty damp, pretty gloomy for today with this system passing through. And again, even though the rain really hasn't shown up on the radar there all too much, those damp conditions are still going to be persisting. So again, just one of those days where it wouldn't be a bad idea to still just have that rain gear with you at any point here, even if it isn't exactly raining. It is still going to be chilly nonetheless as well. And that is something that's important to note here too when we take a look at our current temperatures across the area. So all of our temperatures at this point are above freezing. In fact, the only areas this morning that actually fell below freezing were Houghton Lake, West Branch, and for a period, Gladwin, or rather Oscoda as well. And that was because up north we actually had some clear skies earlier in the night. And so that allowed those temps to fall down to the upper 20s. But since then, those areas already above freezing again in the mid 30s. It's actually 42 in Flint, 41 in Mount Pleasant, and we do have 39 in Saginaw and Midland. I do think that 33 in Bay City, that sensor might be reading a little bit cold, but either way, it's pretty much mid to upper 30s for most of the area now. So any chance of freezing drizzle, that is gone, and we actually really didn't even see any this morning either. So always a good thing to avoid that. But at this point, freezing drizzle is not going to be a concern for the rest of the day with these temps. At the same time, though, expect these temperatures that you're seeing on your screen to pretty much just hang around for the entire day. So we really aren't going to warm up too much more from here. Temperatures almost just kind of staying steady as we go throughout this Thursday. But over to the First Alert hour by hour. So again, not much of the drizzle is really showing up on the hour by hour, but we have seen from the cameras and from the ground sensors that we do have it out there, especially where skies are a bit more gloomy. We're pretty much just going to continue with conditions like this as we go throughout the remainder of the day. So again, a day that's going to be much different than yesterday. Roads are going to stay wet. The afternoon bus stops are going to be wet. Your drive home from work, that'll be wet as well. But fortunately, with temps above freezing, you won't have to worry about any icy conditions from here for the remainder of the day. I specifically want to call out Owasso, Flint, and Lapeer as well. Those are some areas where we do have the better chance today to still see some even more organized rain showers moving through during the afternoon and the evening. So that right there is about 3 o'clock this afternoon, and some of these showers still continuing towards dinner. Eventually, this system starts to pivot out of here as we go later into the evening and as we go into tonight. Again, some drizzle is going to actually be possible too as we go into Friday morning. So just something to keep in mind. It may actually feel kind of persistently damp here over the next couple of days. But really, other than this damp weather, the warm-up that we still have for the weekend, I think that's something pretty notable too. Even though today we only have those temps upper 30s near 40, we are still calling for mid to upper 50s tomorrow. And then we have the low 60s on Saturday and then more mid 50s on Sunday. So as far as the cold weather, just really have to get through today, and then we will enjoy another stretch of a few days of some warmer temps, especially unseasonably warm for this time of year. But that's all we have for you in the First Alert Weather Show this morning. So, of course, stay dry out there. Be sure to tune in at noon today, too. First Alert meteorologist Diane Phillips will be on air on TV5 with another look at the forecast. And then also we'll have First Alert meteorologist Stone Schaefer, also with another First Alert Weather Show on all these live stream channels at 2 o'clock today. So tune in to them, but have a great rest of your day. Stay dry and take care.